Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Promoted Sandra. In today's tutorial, I'm going to be teaching you how to cut and sew this beautiful flagrant dress. If you're interested in learning how to cut and sew this dress, then keep up watching and don't forget to like this video and also subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of cutting and sew tutorials over here. These are the materials I'm going to be using for the making of this dress. This particular material is called Africa print, and I have about 4 yards of Africa print over here. So you're going to be needing about 4 yards or 3.5 yards depending on how big you are. And you're also going to be needing this feather. I forgot the name. Is it ostrich or what they call it? So I'm going to be putting the name on the screen. I bought 1.5 yards. So a yard of this feather is 1,500. As at then, I bought it last year, 2024. So I don't know the current price. You can go ahead and check out for the price. But I bought 1.5 yards. Okay. From the 4 yards I was having, I went ahead to cut at 3 yards and 10 inches from the 4 yards. So I'll go ahead and fold it into two like this. Okay, you can see I went ahead to fold it into two like this. So after folding it, I'll go ahead and refold it again to two again, which is going to give me 4 pieces because I'm going to be cutting the back and the front together at the same time. If you check, you are going to see that this part here is not equal with this first folding I did. That's because I'm going to be adding zip to the dress. So this first one is going to be serving as the front, while this other one is going to be serving as the back. I'm going to be adding zip. So that extra one you are seeing is zipper allowance. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and iron my material. I love ironing for a smoother look, for a smoother cutting and all that. After I am done ironing it, the first thing I'm going to be doing is to mark a straight line across my fabric, which is going to be serving as the starting line or the shoulder line. After I was done marking it, I'm going to be taking all my measurements from this second folding I have here. This one that I said is going to be serving for the front, okay, not from the back. So I'll place my tape here like this. I will mark the wideness of the neckline, which is 3 inches. Then for the depth, I will place my tape on the shoulder line. I will come down by 4 inches. I will mark it. After marking it, I'll go ahead and connect these 2 points together. Okay, so I'm going to be using my French curve to connect it like this. After connecting it, I will go ahead and use the straight part to extend it to the zipper allowance at the back. This neckline I just marked is going to be serving for both the back and also for the front. So which means that the back neckline is also going to be deep as the front. But for you, if you don't want the back neckline to be deep as the front, all you just need to do is to place your tape on the shoulder and mark 1 inch downward. So after marking 1 inch, just go ahead and connect it like this. So I am doing this for the sake of those that don't want the back of their dress to be deep. So once I'm done with that, I will place my tape on the shoulder. I will mark half of my shoulder measurement, which is 8 inches. So after marking it, I'll place my tape there. I will come down by 1 inch for shoulder slope. So I'll just go ahead and connect the shoulder slope onto the neckline like this. Okay, so after connecting it, I will place my tape on the shoulder. I will mark my bust point, which is 11 inches. Then I also come to this other side and mark 11 inches. I will connect the points together like this. So after connecting it, I will place my tape on the shoulder. I will mark half of my round armhole, which is 9.5 inches. I will place my tape on the shoulder and mark 9.5 inches like this. Okay, so after marking it, I'll go ahead and connect the points together. This line is going to be called the chest line. Okay, so I'll place my tape on the chest line. I'll also mark half of my shoulder measurement, which is 8 inches. Then I'll go ahead and connect a straight line across like this. So after connecting it, I will place my tape around the armhole area like this. I will fold my tape into two and mark the midpoint. So after marking the midpoint, I will place my tape on this point. I will go in by 1/2 inch like this. Then I'll place my tape on the chest line. I will divide my bust measurement by 4. I will mark it, which is 10 inches. So I'll go ahead and connect the points together like this using my French curve. So from the shoulder slope, I will connect it to that 1/2 inch, and from that 1/2 inch, I will mark a curved line to the chest line. Okay, after connecting the points together, what I'm going to be doing next is to go ahead and use my pin to pin the materials together because I'm about to start shifting it up and down, so you need to pin it. The next thing I'm going to be doing is to mark the full length of this dress I'm working with. So to mark the full length, you are going to be placing your tape on the shoulder line, okay, on this point here, this particular point here. Make sure your tape is on this point here, okay. So I'll go ahead and mark the full length. So the full length of my gown is 42 inches. I'm going to be adding 1 inch for folding allowance, which is going to make it 43. So I will come to the down part. I'll just go ahead and mark 43 like this. So after marking it, I'll go ahead and mark it round like a flea, but make sure your tape is still placed on that point where I placed it. Then you go ahead and mark the flea like this. Make sure your tape is still on that particular point. Then go ahead and mark it around 43. If your own is 40, go ahead and mark 40. If it's 39, go ahead and mark 39. So for me, the total of mine is 43. So can you see the tape is still on that point while I was still marking it? Okay, so this is how to cut a flea dress. Then after marking it, I'll go ahead and use my French curve to connect the points together, and you can also go ahead and use your free hand to connect it if you want to. So after connecting it, I'll place my tape on this point here, this front part. I'll go ahead and measure what I have around it down. So what I have here is about 31 inches, which is too wide for me. So while I was making this dress, I marked 30 inches. I made use of 30 inches. So for me, I'm going to advise, if you know you are as big as I am, your bust is 40, your hip is 44, 45, I will advise you make use of 27 or 28 inches for the flare around the down instead of 30 inches. Okay, but if you know you are not too big, your bust is around 30 to 35, like you're not too big, please make use of at least 22, 23, 24, you understand, something like that. Just play around with it and know what's work for you. So that is just it. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is to divide my bust measurement by 4. I will mark it on the chest line, which is 10 inches. Then I'll go ahead and add extra 2 inches for joining allowance and ease allowance. Then around the chest line, I will just add 1 inch, but I will advise you add 1.5 inch around the chest line for joining allowance and ease allowance. Then I'll go ahead and use my straight ruler to connect from the chest line to the bust point line. Then from there, I will mark a slant line from the bust point line to the downside of the dress, which is the hem of the dress. I'll just mark it slant like this. After connecting the points together, I will go ahead and cut it out just like as you can see me doing. Please pay attention and see the part I am cutting at. So after cutting out the side, I will place my tape around the shoulder line. I will place my tape here. I will mark 1/2 inch upward for joining allowance, okay. I will also place my tape on the neckline. I will mark 1/2 inch upward, then connect everything together. This is going to be serving as the joining allowance. So after connecting it, you go ahead and cut it at. That is if you want to make use of this back neckline. This is the joining allowance I added. So once you're done cutting it, all you need to do is to remove the back, okay. Just take it inside, then go ahead and cut out the front neckline, or separate the back from the front instead. So for me, I'm not going to be using this back neckline I cut. I'm going to be using the same deepness for the front and the back. So I'll just go ahead and cut it out. While cutting it, please don't forget to add 1/2 inch for joining allowance. Then I'll go ahead and cut out the down like this, as you can see me doing. So after cutting the down, then the next thing I'm going to be doing is to measure how wide I want the zipper allowance to be. So for me, I just want to make use of 1 inch. I'll just go ahead and mark 1 inch from the start to the end. Then connect the points together and cut out the excess. So if you want to measure it, you're going to place your tape on the front part of the dress and measure 1 inch towards the zipper allowance. So after I was done cutting it out, I'll go ahead and fold this piece of material into two like this. Then I'll place the front part on it like this. Then I'll go ahead and cut out the shoulder, the neckline. Okay, this is the lining. I'm just cutting out the lining to turn the neckline. So once I'm done cutting the armhole, I'll just go ahead and cut it out like this. So for me, this was too deep. Okay, so I will advise you should make the neckline short. That is the lining, make it short. Don't allow it to be too long like this, else you are going to have issues around the bust area. So once I'm done, I will place the lining on the main material, right side facing each other. I'll go ahead and pin it. After pinning it, I will take it to the sewing machine and sew it with 1/2 inch. So I'll just go ahead and show you guys how to sew it. Okay, just pay attention and see what I'm doing. So I'll just go ahead and sew it with 1/2 inch. As I'm sewing, I'll be removing the pin. So as you are sewing, please be removing the pin as well, so that your needle will not break, so that your needle will not pass through it and break. So after sewing it, I will just go ahead and notch it around. So by the time you are done sewing yours, go ahead and notch it. After notching it, I'll go ahead and top stitch on it. So I'll just flip everything to the lining like this, then I'll go ahead and top stitch on it like this. So after top stitching on it, I will take it to the ironing table. I'll just go ahead and iron it, just like you can see me doing. So I've also gone ahead to do the same thing for the back. As I'm sewing the front, I'm also sewing the back as well. So just go ahead and give it a proper ironing. After ironing it, I'll go ahead and pin it like this. So after pinning the lining to the main material, I will take to the same machine and stitch it down. I will stitch the armhole down, then I also stitch this other side. I will do the same thing for the back. So after stitching it, I'll go ahead and iron it. This is the back part of the dress. So what I'm going to be doing now is to fold in the zipper allowance. Remember, it was 1 inch I added for zipper allowance. That is why I am measuring it to make sure it does not exceed that 1 inch. So I'll just fold it in and iron it. After I am done ironing it, I will turn this one to the front. So this is one side of the back. I will turn to the front. Then I will turn the other side and place it on it, right side facing each other. Then I'll go ahead and bring out the zipper allowance I just ironed. I will use my pin to pin it down, just like as you can see me doing. So after I am done pinning it from the start to the end, this is the zip I'm going to be sewing on it. Okay, so I will advise, if you have the longer one, which is the 24 inches zip, you can go ahead and use that one, but I don't have that one available. That is why I'm using this short one. So I'll place my zip on it. I will mark where I want the zip to stop. So after marking it, I will take this to the sewing machine. I will sew it from this point here to the hem of the dress. Okay, so guys, after sewing it, the next thing I'm going to be doing is to sew my zip on the dress. Okay, so I've gone ahead to sew the zip on it, and this is how it look like, as you can see. So we don't have light now, that is why I cannot iron it, but for you I would advise you iron it by the time you are done sewing it. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is to place the right side of the front to the right side of the back. Make sure both of them are both facing each other. Then I'll go ahead and pin the shoulder together. I will pin this other side. After pinning it, I will take it to the sewing machine. I will stitch it down by 1/2 inch. Then I will stitch this other side down by 1/2 inch. So guys, I've gone ahead to sew it. The next thing I'm going to be doing is to shaping the side. So what I'm going to be doing is to place my tape on it like this. So I'll be using 1 inch to shaping it. So I'll just go ahead and mark 1 inch from the armhole to the hem of the dress. So after marking it, I'll go ahead and connect all the points together. So after connecting it, I'll go ahead and pin it down. Okay, use your office pin or whatever pin you have to pin it down. Then I will mark 3 inches downward. I will take this to the sewing machine and start sewing it from here to the hem of the dress. I will also do the same thing for the other side. Okay, I'll just go ahead and mark 1 inch inward, then connect the points together. From the armhole, come down by 2 inches or 3 inches and start sewing it from that point. So once I'm done sewing it, I'll go ahead and fold the hem of the flayed dress. Okay, I already have a tutorial on my channel on how to fold the hem of a flayed dress. I'm going to be leaving the link at the description section. Check it out and learn how to sew the hem of a flayed dress. This is just me sewing it, as you can see me doing. After I am done sewing it, the next thing I'm going to be doing is to cut out the sleeve. So I'll just go ahead and fold my material into two like this, just like as you can see me doing. Then I'll go ahead and mark my armhole curve around the top like this. So I'm going to be making a well detailed tutorial on how to cut this type of sleeve. In case you're interested, make sure you are subscribed to this channel and turn on post notification. So I'll just go ahead and measure the wideness I have here, if it's enough for me to cut the sleeve. Okay, so the wideness I folded is enough. Then I'll place my tape around the shoulder line. I will mark the full length of the sleeve. So the full length of my sleeve is 23 inches. I will add 1 inch to it for folding allowance, which is going to give me 24 inches. So I will mark it. After marking it, I'll go ahead and connect the points together like this. So another thing I'm going to be doing is this. I'm going to be placing my tape around the shoulder. I will mark from my shoulder measurement to my elbow measurement, which is 12 inches. Then I'll go ahead and connect a straight line across. There's something I'm going to be doing on that part, so just pay attention. The next thing I'm going to be doing now is to add all the measurements. So I will place my tape around the armhole area. I will divide my armhole by 2, which is 9.5 inches. I will add extra 1.5 inch to it for joining allowance and ease allowance, so which is going to give me a total of 11 inches. So I'll go ahead and mark 11 inches around the armhole area here. Then I will come to the hem, which is this down part. I will mark 12 inches. That is how wide I want the down to be. Okay, I will go ahead and connect the points together like this. After connecting it, you can go ahead and cut it out and use it like that. Okay, so for me, I want the elbow area to have a shape, so I'll place my tape on the elbow line. I will mark 1.5 inch inward. Then I'll go ahead and mark a slant line from the armhole area to the 1.5 inch. Then I'll also connect from the elbow line to the hem line like this. Okay, after connecting it, I'll go ahead and cut it out using my electric scissors. After cutting it out, the next thing I'm going to be doing is this. I'll go ahead and use it to cut out the other sleeve. So this is the hem part. All you just need to do is to go ahead and weave it. If you don't have a weaving machine, you can go ahead and place your feather on it like this and stitch it down. Okay, so I've already gone ahead to sew this part of the feathers on my sleeve. So after sewing that part, I'll go ahead and sew this edge here, because I just want to sew it 2 times so that it will not lose on time. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and sew it just like as you can see me doing. After sewing it, this is how it look like, as you can see. So I'll just go ahead and fold it into 2. After folding it, I will notch the middle. This is the other sleeve. As you can see, I've gone ahead to sew it as well. So what I'm going to be doing now is to go ahead and open up my dress, turn it to the back. After turning it, then I'll place my sleeve on it. This is the right side of the sleeve. I will just go ahead and place it, the part where I notch, which is the middle. I'll go ahead and pin it to the shoulder. Then make sure the right side of the sleeve is facing the right side of the dress. Just go ahead and pin it from one end to the other. Then go ahead and also pin the other side, just like as you can see me doing. Okay, so after pinning it, I will take it to the sewing machine. I will just go ahead and stitch it down with 1/2 inch. Then I'll go ahead and stitch down the other side. So this is just me stitching it, as you can see. So I'm going to make this very fast because this video is already too long. So after stitching it, I'll go ahead and start sewing from that 2 inches I left around the armhole area. Okay, around the side, I'll just go ahead and sew it from there to the hem of the sleeve. Okay, so guys, after sewing this part, all you just need to do is to go ahead and iron out your dress. So I've come to the end of this video. This is how the dress look like. I hope this tutorial was really helpful. If it was, please go ahead and like this video, comment on it, because this really help my algorithm a lot. And if you are yet to subscribe to this channel, go ahead and subscribe if you want to see more of cutting and sewing tutorials on this channel. See you guys on my next video. Bye.